Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Self podcast. My name is Hannah, I'm your host, and today we are grounding into everything around the root chakra and all that it governs within our bodies and within our lives energetically. So if you haven't already listened to the Discovering the Chakras episode, which will be the one before this, you may want to dive into that first, but it's totally up to you. Just a little recap in case you're just jumping onto this episode. We are doing a 7-part series of the chakras, and the chakras are energetic systems within our bodies. So today we are starting with the first chakra, the root chakra. So the root chakra is represented by the color red, and it is located at the base of our spine, almost as if it was like at the end of our tailbone. And the Sanskrit name is Muladhara. So sorry if I butchered that because I do not speak Sanskrit. But the root of this word translates to mula, meaning root, and adhara, meaning support or foundation. So that just gives us a glimpse into the true importance of the root chakra being such a strong foundation that we need before we can grow into higher realms and as we get into the other chakras. So when working with this chakra, I always visualize the roots of a tree. So let's look at this for a moment. First of all, we're going to look at stability. The tree roots provide the tree with stability, grounding it firmly into Mother Earth, preventing it from falling over. And as humans, our root chakra grounds us and helps us to feel safe, secure, and stable in the world. So we need roots in the same way that the tree needs roots to provide that stability and foundation for ourselves. Tree roots also provide nourishment for the tree, absorbing water and minerals from the soil. As humans, our root chakra is our energetic connection to our basic needs, such as food, shelter, and safety. The root also connects us. The roots of the tree also connect the tree to Mother Earth. Without the roots, the tree would lack that connection and would not be able to grow and flourish. And as humans, our root chakra also connects us to Mother Earth, our ancestors, and the physical world as well. So if we're not grounding ourselves and having that connection with the earth, we're not feeling stable and secure, and we maybe lack that connection that we need to flourish. The roots are the tree's foundation for growth as well. If the roots are weak, the tree cannot grow tall and strong and withstand storms. As humans, we are the same. We need to have strong roots to be secure in who we are, where we come from, and to be grounded in our human experience, to be able to withstand our storms and expand to our greatest potential. So, just as the roots of the tree determine how tall and strong a tree can grow, our root chakra determines how secure, grounded, and connected in life we are. Our roots are connected to our basic needs as humans: food, shelter, and security. And if we don't have these basic needs met, then we don't have time or energy to worry about the more complex parts of life. When you don't know where your next meal is coming from, or if you'll have a roof over your head, and if you always live in that constant fight or flight energy, not being grounded in the human experience, it's really difficult to have any more than that be your experience. And this is why it's so important to start at the bottom and work our way up with the chakras. When we have a healthy and balanced root chakra, we're able to have a sturdy structure to build our life upon, and the base for all other wonderful things that life has to offer for us. So I also like to think of the root chakra being our connection to our ancestors as well, because our ancestors have rooted us into this physical world, because without them we wouldn't be here. And it's also, our family is such a connection to, energetically, our sense of security and stability, because We learn so much from our family when we're young, and if you're born into a family where you always felt secure and you were made to believe in yourself and all these things, then your energy around that is probably a lot stronger than maybe somebody who didn't grow up with parents, or somebody whose parents didn't have that kind of parenting style, or just that wasn't their values that they instilled in their children. So your roots are such a part of your family connection, your relationship with your family, and that as well. And it's very much connected to our basic needs also, because when you're little, your parents have to provide all that for you. It's not your job to feed yourself when you're just a little baby or a child. So a lot of that comes from our parents and our ancestors. And there might be a lot of generational trauma here if you come from families who have been in situations where there were starving. Like, I think a lot of people probably have unhealed generational trauma around this, because even for myself, I think like my grandma was born in the Great Depression, and that was a lot of trauma that she was born during the Great Depression. She was born in 1934. So the trauma that her mom was holding on to, being in that state of fear and lack all the time, wondering if they'll have enough food to feed all their 14 children, while she's pregnant with my grandmother, that's being passed down. And then that fear of not knowing if there's going to be enough, if you're going to be able to feed everybody. And then my grandma when I was little, like, she would never throw things out. She would use like half a packet from Kraft Dinner and keep the other half of the packet in the cupboard. And when she moved from the house that she lived in for like all my childhood to when she moved into a home and we had to go through all her belongings, she had so much stuff in that house, food and expired, like so much canned goods, and just like a freezer full of so much food to the bottom that she was never going to eat. But I think that sense of scarcity and not knowing if there was ever going to be enough food really came from her mother and those traumas that she, got as a child and passed on from the generations before her, that it's now my job to do the work to make sure that I heal all that fear, because if not, I can still pass it on to my children. But it's just something that I definitely witnessed in my grandma, and I see that because she grew up in that time. She was just always so worried and making sure that we had food. She was always feeding us probably too much food, because there was an abundance of food then when I was a child, and she just was always worried about making sure everybody was fed. So something to think about. I just want to dive into what parts of our physical body, and then also what things energetically in our life does the root chakra govern, because it's linked to our physical body, as well as it's linked to the energetics. And I will go into the mind, body, heart, and soul as well. So first of all, for the physical body, if you have any injuries or prone to injuries with these parts of your body, then maybe you have some sort of stuck trauma to do with the root chakra. So legs, knees, and feet, bones and skeletal system, colon, rectum, large intestine, and your kidney and bladder, and your adrenal glands, which rule over your fight or flight. Some people will say hips and lower back, but that's also connected to your sacral chakra, so it often is a connection to both. So we like to think about the skeletal system being our structural system of our bodies. So maybe if you've broken a lot of bones or you have issues with your skeleton, then that can be coming from your root chakra, especially your legs, feet, and knees. That is ruled by our roots. And so then anything like the colon, rectum, large intestine, kidneys, and bladder, that's like our body, like getting rid of things in our body. So if you struggle with constipation and things like that, can be a sign that there's something that you're really holding on to, you're really not letting go of. So energetically in our bodies, this feeling, the energy of the root chakra really has to do with feeling safe in our bodies and also feeling safe in the world as well. It governs over our basic needs of food, shelter, and security, our connection to our family and tribes, and also our relationship with money or the physical material world. So our relationship with the physical world, because we are grounded right now on this planet, this is our home. And if we don't have a good relationship, feeling like we are not meant to be here or we struggle being here, you struggle with the feeling of home and just not feeling safe here, that has to do a lot with having issues with the root chakra. And again, any sort of basic needs. So if you think about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's the very base of the pyramid. It's the base of human needs, what you need to survive. And then as we go up the chakras, everything from there is just like added on. If this is your only focus, this has to be your focus because it's how you will survive. But once this chakra is healed and balanced, then you have the energy to deal with the higher things that come with the human experience. So you want to establish good trust with yourself and life, and stability, consistency, and grounding, because a balanced energy will feel like grounded, secured, supported, and confident in life. You're grounded in who you are. You're grounded on this planet. You feel secure knowing that you have shelter, you have food, you are secure in who you are, where you come from. You're supported by Mother Earth, by your family, by your tribe, by everyone, and you're confident in these things. It's not like coming from a place of fear or lack. And imbalanced can feel like fear, insecurity, anxiety, and feeling unsafe or unrooted, ready to run. If you're in a constant state of fight or flight, this is a really, really big sign that there is an imbalance in your root chakra. Because what do we want to do? That's a basic human need. It's a survival mechanism. And I think so many of us just run on fight or flight all the time because of so many factors in our world. But when we can calm our nervous system and to be able to feel safe and secure, then we're not always running or not always trying to fight everything that comes our way. So some core themes: safety and security, feeling protected. This often stems from your childhood if your parents made you feel safe and secure. Feeling safe in both your physical body and in your environment, and trusting that your basic needs are met. Survival and stability, so food, shelter, and finances, and having these fundamental needs met so that you can be grounded and supported. Belonging and connection, feeling like you belong in your family, tribe, community, and the world. Having a connection with the earth and feeling at home in your body and on the planet. Your connection to your ancestors as well, your family roots. Grounding and presence, being rooted in the present moment, feeling calm, stable, and connected to your reality. Physically and the body, embodiment and being comfortable in your physical body, your physical health, stamina, and vitality as well. So are you taking care of your physical body? Because it's your home for this life. It's the vehicle that you get to drive while you're having this human experience. And if you don't care for your body and you're not taking that into consideration, that's also probably a big indicator that there is a blockage in your root chakra. Trust and foundation, trust in life, in the universe, and yourself, and a strong inner foundation for building all other aspects of your life. So if your root chakra is balanced, again, you'll feel safe, secure, grounded, and stable. Those roots are big and strong. The storm's not going to blow you over. Not in a state of fear all the time. You'll feel at home in this world, have a healthy relationship with money, and your body feels strong, and your basic needs are met. So if that's how you feel, then chances are you have a balanced root chakra, and that is awesome. When your root chakra is out of balance, it can be, or any chakra is out of balance, it can manifest in a way of being overactive or underactive. So I will go into both of these. But in a visualization practice, if I was visualizing a root chakra, if it was underactive, I would visualize like the red glowing ball that is that energy to be really small and dull and like not working. And overactive, I would visualize it being like almost like a fire, out of control fire. It's too big, it's too loud, it's too hot, it's trying to do too much, and that's also not okay. So if the root chakra is overactive, it can manifest as materialism, controlling and rigidity, aggression or dominance, and obsession with safety or routine. If your root chakra is underactive, it can manifest as fear, anxiety, restlessness, disconnection from the body, earth, or reality, insecurity and financial instability, fatigue, and poor boundaries. So again, if you were to close your eyes, if you want a little practice that you can do to see if you're wondering like, is my root chakra balanced? Is it overactive, underactive? This is just what I do for myself, and I think that your intuition can be very powerful in this activity. Close your eyes and imagine that you have roots growing from the base of your spine down into the bottom of the earth. Then I visualize these roots of like, are they little? Are they not going very far? Are they like twigs versus thick roots? Because that would maybe be a sign that your root chakra is underactive. Or if it's overactive, I sometimes visualize it as the roots are so big, they're almost cemented and they cannot move, which is also for us not a thing that we want, because although it's important to have that sense of like who we are and where we come from, we need to be able to adapt in situations also for survival purposes. But, we learn and grow as we go through life and experience different things. So if we just have roots that are very stuck in one way and we can't adapt to new challenges, new parts of life, new situations, that's going to cause a lot of issues. Or you can do the visualization with the glowing ball. If it's just a good size glowing, it feels good, that's awesome. You probably have a balanced root chakra. But if you visualize it and it's really small or dense or dark, maybe it's underactive. Or if it's like out of control, it might be overactive. Something just to keep in mind, not just for right now, but also through all different phases of life, because we can have different issues at different times in our life. Maybe if a parent dies, that's going to be a time in your life where you end up having an issue with your root chakra, because that's your connection to your roots, to your family, things like that. So even if you spend all this time healing all these traumas from your root chakra, from your ancestors and all that thing, there's still going to be times in your life where this can be sparked. So I want to talk about some things, if your root chakra is out of balance, some things that you can do to balance it. So this can be spending time and connecting with nature. So go outside, go for a walk, spend time in the forest, spend time near water. Just get out of the house. Honestly, we all spend way too much time inside. We need to go outside, get some fresh air, soak in the beauty of Mother Nature, because she is so amazing, and I think we really take her for granted a lot nowadays when there's screens everywhere and all these things to distract you and keep you inside. But there's so much healing and power being out in nature, so just really keep that in mind, especially going into these winter months. It's so easy to want to stay inside, and winter is the season for going internal and spending that time with yourself, but any type of time that you can spend outside in the winter, take advantage of it. Any of those warmer, sunny days, get out there, put your bare feet on the ground, or participate in any kind of grounding practice. So again, because winter is coming up, if you live in Canada, somewhere where there's not grass all year round, it's really important that you at least do some sort of meditation or visualization practice to help you with grounding, burning sage, anything like that to help keep your energy grounded in this physical reality. So meditation, breath work, exercise, moving your body is such a powerful tool, and it also counts as a grounding practice because you're feeling yourself in your body, you're feeling yourself in this physical world, and that's just very beneficial. Wearing colors like red, black, and brown, and that can connect you to your root chakra. So I am statements, any sort of I am affirmations, the phrase for the root chakra is I am. I am grounded. I am secure. I know who I am. I am proud of where I come from. All things like that. And then to chant, if you like to chant, because the power of vibration in our voice is very powerful. Lam is the chant for the root chakra. So you can just go like Lam, Lam, over and over and over again to help activate that chakra as well. Eat nourishing foods such as root vegetables, warm foods, and protein-rich foods. So I like to think of this being like a stew that you're going to eat in the winter. And I think that's also especially why we eat so heartily in the winter, is because we lack that connection of nature outside because we're spending so much time inside. So you end up eating more foods like carrots and potatoes and like a beef barley soup or some sort of stew, things like that. But it's also because those kinds of foods store well over the winter, but it will help you to connect to that root chakra. So if you want to journal about things, journal about anything that makes you feel safe and secure, your relationship with money, home, family, and stability. Dive into topics like that in your journaling and see what comes up, because you might discover some feelings that you have that you maybe didn't know were there or have been avoiding. You can use crystals, any kind of red crystal, but things like brown jasper, red jasper, smoky quartz, hematite, and garnet, bloodstone, rhodonite. Things like that are good for the root chakra. Essential oils like cedarwood, patchouli, sandalwood, and any kind of wood, anything like foresty smelling, I would say would be really good for the root chakra. And any sort of red food other than your root vegetables, and that, eat things like strawberries, raspberries, cherries, peppers, beets, pomegranates. Also nuts are good. And yoga poses to do for the root chakra is Savasana, or the corpse pose, bridge pose, low lunges, mountain pose, the standing forward fold, and a squat or child's pose. Going into our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, I'm just going to get into this quickly because we probably actually covered most of this, but I do want to dive into these topics specifically. The root chakra, for the physical well-being, the root chakra governs the body's connection to the physical world and its ability to survive, which includes the legs, feet, bones, colon, adrenal glands, and immune system. Our imbalances can manifest as fatigue, lower back pain, or immune issues. Our balanced root chakra supports basic needs like nourishment, safety, and shelter, enabling the body to function optimally. And it provides the energy and stability needed to ensure that we feel physically safe and resilient. So for our mental well-being, the root chakra is important because it shapes our thoughts about security, stability, and the material world, creates a sense of security and grounding, which is essential for mental focus and stability. A balanced root chakra creates mental calmness, and focus arises from a solid foundation, allowing us to make decisions with confidence and clarity, and it allows us to feel safe and stable, reducing fear and mental chaos. For our emotional well-being, the root chakra is tied to our basic emotional needs and primal instincts. It regulates the feelings of security, safety, belonging, and trust in life. It helps to release deep-seated fears and promotes emotional resilience in challenging situations. Feeling safe and secure is critical for emotional resilience and the ability to navigate life's challenges without overwhelming fear. And for our spiritual well-being, the root chakra is the foundation of spiritual growth, connecting us to the earth and grounding us to the physical plane. It anchors our spirit to the body, providing a stable base for exploring higher consciousness. Spiritual growth begins with stability and grounding, allowing us to explore higher chakras like intuition and divine connection without losing our sense of self. Without a grounded root chakra, it's difficult to access higher spiritual experiences while remaining balanced in your daily life. So it's not that you can't have spiritual experiences if you have blockages in your root chakra, but it can be really easy to get lost in that space. It can be really easy to go down these rabbit holes and stay in there and not come back to this physical reality. You know, it can be linked to a lot of different kinds of mental health. If there is a lot of stimulation in, say, your crown chakra and your third eye chakra and no stimulation in your root chakra. Because if we were meant to be physical and having this physical experience, we wouldn't be here. So all the spiritual stuff is wonderful and lovely and magical, but it's unhealthy if you can't do it in a grounded way. So this is why it's so important that we start at the bottom and work our way up and create a free-flowing path for our energy to move throughout, like, effortlessly, and it's gonna really help us in the end. So just some practices that you can do: a grounding meditation. So ground your energy by visualizing roots growing from the base of your spine into the earth and send all the unwanted energy down into the earth to neutralize it, which is why it's so powerful if you can do that with putting your feet on the ground. The vibration of the earth will do that for you. But when you can't, again, put your feet on the ground because it's winter, visualizing your roots and sending your energy down into the earth, it will still absorb it because Mother Earth is just magical at that. Connect with nature when you can. Spend time outside, and it will help to keep you grounded and connected to that root chakra. And declutter your space, because all things hold energy, and if our space is full of clutter, it can really affect our energy, even if we know it or not. So to keep yourself grounded and focused, you can try eliminating all the clutter from your space. Just really clean out as much as you can, because everything holds energy. And if you have a bunch of trinkets everywhere, if you have a bunch of stuff everywhere, if you have a big pile of papers that you aren't dealing with somewhere, all that is holding energy and it's taking up energy in your space, and it can be more difficult to focus and stay on track and all those things. Okay, well, I think that is everything for the root chakra. So thank you all for staying tuned with me and being here and learning and growing together. Next week, we will get into the sacral chakra. I'm super excited to go into that one with you guys. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you want something to journal about, I gave you some themes, but I will just say a couple journal prompts now that may be beneficial. Ask yourself, when you close your eyes and visualize roots, how do they appear for you? What makes me feel safe, secure, and supported? Where in my life do I feel ungrounded or unstable right now? What beliefs do I hold about money, survival, or security? How is my relationship with my body and with the earth? And what does home mean to me? So just some things that you can journal on, reflect on, and dive into if there's some healing you need to do around the chakra. I think probably all of us have things that are always lingering. So let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to add as I go through these next episodes, if you're curious. And until next time, I will see you then. Bye!